So there I am, middle school lunch, mid-90s, and a bunch of us are huddled around a lunch table doing Game Boy Link battles. I think my team is absolutely unstoppable until I come across a kid who throws out a Pokemon I've never seen before. Mew. Suddenly I'm just getting wiped out by the overpowered Gen 1 psychic moves, and I lose the battle in total shock. So what do? I go home, I jump on the family computer, I start flipping through my player's guides, I start asking around the neighborhood. I just had to figure out how to get Mew for myself. Somewhere along the line, I stumble upon a rumor about a hidden truck near the S.S. This one little moment sent me on a journey to find a legendary Pokemon hidden in a random, hard-to-reach spot in the game. And it became one of the biggest rumors in Pokemon history. So let's go back and explore how this rumor got started, why it was so believable, and revisit that legendary journey of finding Mew in Gen 1 Pokemon. Let's get into it. Back in the day, Pokemon felt like this huge mysterious world full of hidden corners and hidden secrets. You had the legendary birds like Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos hidden away in their secret cave spots and a hard-to-reach power plant. Then there were fossils that you could find and revive in this mysterious lab. Then when you beat the Elite Four, you unlocked Cerulean Cave where you could find Mewtwo. And rare Pokemon would just show up all the time, whether you're just randomly searching through the grass or you saw them showing up in trainer battles. Pokemon Gen 1 was like a playground for your imagination in so many ways. And I think that's why a lot of us really love this game. But then there were also myths, like the missing no glitch that felt like a secret cheat code hidden in the game, but it was just actually a bug. Or all those creepy, eerie stories about Lavender Town that everyone always talked about. I remember some kids swearing you could evolve Pikachu into Pika Blue, or kids talking about Bill having a secret garden where you could find a new kind of Eevee. The whole game was just packed with these rumors and legends. So when I heard a rumor about a hidden truck by the S.S. that might lead to Mew, it just kind of made sense. It was very believable. Felt like it was just another secret waiting to be found. But it had me asking the question, where did the story of the truck and Mew actually come from? Some said it was printed in early magazines, others said they found it on online message boards. And I swear every school had that one kid that claimed that they had an uncle that worked at Nintendo. Or maybe it simply started because some player stumbled upon this weird truck. It seemed just so out of place, and I think it's the only vehicle in this game. And maybe that kicked off a word-of-mouth chain that just spread like wildfire across the globe. I actually looked into this recently. I dug through old forums, I looked at the Wayback Machine, I asked around on Reddit, and I even asked my channel. And answers were all over the place. Everyone remembers hearing it somehow, but no one can quite agree where it actually came from. Which is strange because it felt so universal. It felt like common knowledge that just kind of spawned in your brain. I started to wonder if it had been mentioned somewhere in pop culture, like a magazine, a guide, or a TV show, or something like that, but I couldn't find anything. So there doesn't seem to be a single point of origin, but all I kept thinking about is how magical it all felt back then. Like we were all part of this shared scavenger hunt across the world. And when people actually found stuff like the missing no, it only added fuel to the fire. It got people to search every little corner of the game and really dig deep to find hidden secrets. I wish I could go back in time and relive that sense of mystery when anything felt possible in the game. And honestly, I wish modern games still made us feel this way. Like the world was way bigger than what we were actually playing. But back to Mew and the truck. Let's quickly talk about how you get to the location where the truck is, because it wasn't easy. And that's also what I think made the rumor so believable in the first place. To reach it, you kind of had to break the normal linear game design. You see, normally when you beat your rival on the S.S. and you got cut, you leave the ship and it sails away forever. So if you wanted to see the truck, you had to find a way to stop that from happening. Some players cleverly figured out that after you talked to the captain and got cut, you could go back to one of the trainers in the rooms, fight them, and let all your Pokemon faint, and that would send you back to a Pokemon Center. So this method would keep the ship docked, but allow you to get cut, and of course continue progressing in the game. I also remember people saying that you could just trade with a friend for a Pokemon that already knew Surf, and then use that Pokemon to get to this location. But to use Surf, you needed a soul badge, so I'm not really sure if that trade method actually worked to get to the truck. So you had to continue progressing and make your way to Fuchsia City and fight Koga to get the soul badge, as well as Strength and Surf. Surf to get there, Strength to move the truck, obviously. And I remember the playthrough of me trying to do this for the first time being pretty stressful. Starting a new playthrough back in the day was a pretty big deal. Then working your way all the way up to Vermilion City in the S.S. I remember always being worried I'd mess up a step and the ship would just sail away and I'd waste hours of gameplay. But once you get past this part, you continue through half the game, you finally get Surf, you finally get Strength, and then you make that trip back to Vermilion City, you hit Surf, and you get to this location, and there it is, the truck. I remember my first time seeing it. It's so out of place, it's a little bit mysterious, and I had this kind of nervous, excited energy about me. Mainly because it was just a big journey to even get to this point, but also excited to catch this legendary Pokemon. I couldn't wait to tell all my friends that I finally caught a Mew and then explain to them how I did it. I remember walking up to the truck, pressing A million times, checking every single little spot around it, checking every little corner around here. I remember doing laps around the S.S. in this body of water. I figured there had to be something here, but there's nothing. No items, no secret dialogue, no NPCs, and no Mew. Just this random out-of-place truck just sitting here. This was such a massive letdown. I had put hours of work just to get to this point, and there was nothing here. If you did this back in the day like me, you know that exact feeling I'm talking about. Just massive disappointment. But once my frustration subsided, I still remember thinking, Mew had to be real. I saw another kid use it against me in a battle. So the real question was, if it's not here under the truck, how did they get Mew? So there were a few ways you could get Mew back in the day. Sometimes Nintendo held these special events where they distribute Mew. They'd host these events at malls, tournaments, card shops, toy stores. You could bring your Game Boy with you, you'd link up and they'd trade Mew directly to you. I actually looked into this, and if you made it to one of those events, they'd give you this little certificate of authenticity. I actually tried to buy one on eBay, but I figured there's probably a lot of fraudulent ones out there, so I held off. Another way you could get Mew was through the use of Game Shark. If you or a friend were lucky enough to get access to Game Shark back in the day, you could pop in a code that could spawn Mew, or add them right into your party. It felt a little bit like cheating, but back then you didn't really care. You just wanted that overpowered legendary Pokemon on your team. But there was another way to get Mew inside the game, and that was with the Mew Glitch. This method kind of blew everyone's mind. Here's how it works. First, you had to set everything up perfect. You had to battle all the trainers in Nugget Bridge, and you had to leave the trainer left at Nugget Bridge alone. Then you work your way right, battling all the trainers, up into this trainer who has a Slowpoke. But don't battle him yet, you'll need him for later as well. You then need to go catch an Abra, and this is usually a bit of a pain, because he's a little bit rare to find and he always keeps teleporting away. But you'll need Teleport to pull off this glitch. Once you have all that set up, you head back up Nugget Bridge and you go to the trainer to the left that we originally left alone. And it's really important that you save your game in case you mess this up. I messed this up a few times before I was able to get it right. But you line yourself up and walk down to him to try to battle him, but just before the exclamation pops up above his head, you hit start. And if you time it just right, you won't enter a battle with him. From there, you'll want to select Abra and then teleport away. If you did it right, you'll see the exclamation point pop up above his head. Now, after you teleport, that's when you want to make your way back up Nugget Bridge, but this time go to the right and fight the trainer that has Slowpoke. You'll also want to make sure you step up one block above his path, because if you're too close to him, the game will freeze. So just make sure you're one block up. Beating his Slowpoke is the thing that matters the most. Its special stat lined up with Mew's Pokedex number, and that's what will trigger the Mew encounter. So once you defeat this trainer and the Slowpoke, you want to teleport out one more time. From here, you want to walk back up to Nugget Bridge, and as you're doing so, you'll see your menu pop up. And this will trigger the encounter with Mew. You'll now be able to catch a level 7 Mew very early in the game. So I went back during the making of this video and did all these steps, and it was amazing to see Mew pop up after all these years. It made me feel like a kid again. Like I had finally unlocked a secret that I'd been hunting for decades. And honestly, it did give me a little closure after failing to find Mew under the truck all those years ago. It also made me want to do a full playthrough, but this time with Mew by my side the whole way through. So no, there was no Mew under the S.S. truck. But that rumor, it took on a life of its own. It seems like everyone heard it, but no one truly knows how it started. But if you do have more information about this rumor, or do know how it actually began, please drop it in the comments. I'm sure I'm not the only one who would love to know more about this. My research left me with more questions than answers, but honestly, that's okay. Part of the magic with gaming in this era is not knowing absolutely everything, and it kind of lets these mysteries live on forever. Experiences like seeing a friend with Mew, finding the missing No for the first time, or chasing down these playground rumors, it created this kind of global shared curiosity, something that was totally unique and special to this place and time. And in the end, I found it really wasn't about the truck, or even catching Mew. It was about the chase, and the journey you went on to solve these little mysteries. That excitement of believing that there might still be something hiding out there, just waiting to be discovered. That's a feeling that still lives inside me to this day every time I return to Kanto. Even when you go back and play it decades later, that sense of wonder, exploration, and magic, it's still there. The S.S. Sand Truck and the journey to find Mew will live on forever. It's even been referenced in a number of remakes of the game. It truly is one of those moments that shows us just how powerful games can be at connecting us all. And just like in the first episode of the anime, at the end when Ash sees Ho-Oh flying overhead, it reminded you that no matter what you've seen, no matter how many times you've been on this journey, there might be something new and mysterious out there, just waiting to be found. And if you made it to the S.S. Sand Truck back in the day, you probably had a hidden save of your own. This was mine. This is Hidden Saves, a channel about unlocking old memories and figuring out why some games just stuck with us. If this one unlocks something for you, feel free to hit subscribe or drop a comment, and let me know what forgotten memory we should dig up next. Catch you in the next one.